Hey, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I want to give you guys a quick rundown of how I go through the charts and create my watch list. I've been getting a lot of interest and a lot of questions on pretty much my daily trading routine. How do I go through the pairs in my portfolio, filter them out so I'm only focusing on the higher probability trades and the high probability pairs that have a much better chance of price going in my favor. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jerome. I'm a full-time Forex trader based here in Sydney, Australia, and I'm also working alongside Austin Silva as an ASFX coach. So before we get on with the video, I just have to quickly plug my free beginner's guide, beginner's course that I am currently working on and going to release hopefully by the end of Q1 this year, 2021. I have a link I'll put up in the corner somewhere here. You can guys go check it out, see what's involved. It's going to be very intensive and it's going to have a lot of value or knowledge. So it's completely free. You can register your interest if you're interested. If not, let's get on with the video. All right, so let's start from everything from when I get to my desk. What's the first thing I do? Well, obviously the first thing I do is open up my MetaTrader 4 app. So as you guys know, I'm currently doing the Traders for Traders practical assessment, $100,000 practical assessment. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll make sure everything's connected. I'll make sure I'm logged in. I've got the right account. I'm not like on one of the demo accounts. I did that a few weeks ago. I was placing trades and they were on the demo account, but always make sure that, you know, your terminal's connected correctly. For me, I'm using Magic Keys. I've done a video on this as well. So I got to make sure that's working correctly as well. There's been a few times where I'll get into the charts ready to execute on a trade and it's not working. So I'd have to kind of panic and quickly get my position size out, get a position size calculator and work everything out. And it's just a hassle. So make sure everything's working. And then I go on to Forex Factory. So everyone knows about Forex Factory. So pretty much with Forex Factory, I get all my kind of general currency news. Anything that's low impact, medium impact, or high impact. So I'll touch on this real briefly. So low impact, I trade through. So there's a low impact news folder, as you can see here. I won't avoid taking a trade because of that. And medium, I'll take it into account, but more times than not, I'm still trading through that. When you see a red folder, that's a high impact news event that will kind of shake the currency. So for this one, you can see that the currency pair it's related to is USD. So it doesn't mean I'm not trading at all. I just won't be focused on USD pairs too much. I'll see if the trade presents, I'll be more focused on like maybe a Euro pair or a GBP pair. So once I've checked news, make sure that nothing's going to be interfering with my trading session. Make sure I've got kind of just an outlook or overview of what's happening. I then go to TradingView. So as most of you guys know, and I get a lot of questions about this too, with ASFX, because we are using technical analysis that kind of works over a large variety of markets, you can practically trade the A1, D1, and D2 strategies, the setups on most financial markets, stocks, crypto, because it more or less somewhat applies to what we do in Forex. And that can be overwhelming for a lot of new members because yes, when I first came into ASFX, I had all the GBP pairs, all the Euro pairs, Aussie pairs, New Zealand pairs, cross pairs, major pairs. I had everything. So it was very overwhelming to go through this selection, this massive portfolio of Forex pairs and try and narrow it down. So I've become a lot better at it now and I'm going to show you guys what I do and how I keep it very simple. Don't overcomplicate it and just, yeah. So here we go. Pairs I don't trade. So pairs I don't trade will be pairs I'll do analysis on for the guys in the Discord group if they want questions on it, but I just don't trade it. GN I do trade, but the spreads are insane. So that's why it's down here. It'd have to be an A+ setup for me to get involved. But my main focus and what we're gonna go over is what I actively day trade and keep an eye on in my trading, my day-to-day trading. And that is the London session and these pairs here. So GBP USD, GBP JPY, GBP CHF, GCAD, GBP Aussie, Euro USD, Euro NZD, Euro JPY, Euro CAD, Euro Aussie. So these are the pairs that I come into the market every day and I'm looking through them, trying to find high probability trade setups. And the way I go about that is I always start with GU, and I always start on the 15-minute time frame. Don't overcomplicate it. I'm just about to show you how simple I keep it. So for those of you in AceFX, you'll know that this black box here, I'll just highlight it for you guys just to make sure we're on the same page. This box is the Asia session. So what will happen here is price will print, and then when the London session opens, we'll have the Asia session range. So the high and the low, and it just boxes that off. One of our parameters are if price is in the Asia range or if price is out of the Asia range, it'll affect the outcome, and we can shift those probabilities into our favor. So what I'm looking for pretty much is price out of the Asia range or in the Asia range? And before we get to that, I'm going to tell you guys exactly step by step how I go about it. So GBP USD 15-minute chart, and then at the bottom here, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but this is the TDI indicator, the Traders Dynamic Index. Basically that yellow line here, that is market sentiment. Is it bullish, bearish? Where is it trading? What side of the market do you want to be on? So I will go through all the pairs, and I'll do that right now with you guys, and we'll look for that yellow line above the 50 value during the whole Asia session of the current day. So from this point here, we are pretty much looking for that yellow line above the 50 value, as I was just saying before, all day. So obviously I'm trading the London session, so I'm trading price around here. So what happens is I got to make sure that yellow line is in the correct zone until my trading session. So we go to GBP JPY. Once again, you can see price above the 50 value. So I put up my watch list, and I mark them as red on TradingView as well. GBP CHF, once again, and I'll quickly, I usually don't do it like this, but I'm going to show you guys how to filter. So this is why I'm going to mark every perfect L50. So you can see this one's swapping. So this one was below the 50 value, and now it's rising in above into the buy zone, so above the 50 value. So once again, I won't mark it because I don't trade a swapping liquid 50. You can trade it. It's just I'm trying to shift as many probabilities into my favor as I can. So doing this definitely helps. Once again, GBP Aussie has a swapping L50, so I don't add it to my watch list. So once I have gone through all the pairs and picked out just a perfect liquid 50, not complicating it, I'll go back to GBP USD. Now, usually I'll do this step when I'm picking out the liquid 50s as well, mainly, but I'm just showing you how I filter. So now we're going to go through all the pairs that I have marked red, and we're going to just start filtering them. So with the EMAs, I don't trade counter trend. So what I'm doing now is I'm referencing the exponential moving averages to the TDI. So if the TDI is in the buy zone, it's clearly bullish. So what I'm looking for is to trade bullish EMAs, so an uptrend basically. So if you're looking at these EMAs, you can see that we use the 800, which is this dark blue one here. We use the 200, which is the white. Let me get in a bit closer. We use the 50, which is this blue one, the 8, which is the yellow, and the 21, which is the red. So those are the EMAs, and that's how we get pretty much our trends. Is the market trending? Which way is it? Is it going up? Is it going down? Are we at a significant level? As we know, moving averages act as support and resistance, dynamic support and resistance. So this is a really good kind of way to tell when a market's trending. So this would be a full uptrend since the 800 is on the bottom, the 200 is above the 800, the 50 is above the 200, and you kind of just have the 21 and 8 kind of just crossing above and kind of just consolidating at the top there. So this would be a pair I would keep on my watch list. So I'd mark it orange, and then I'd go down to GBP JPY. Once again, bullish 800 on the bottom, 200, and then so on. So I would mark it orange. as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs now to kind of go through and really kind of narrow down. So once again, we're going to go through what we have selected and go through the higher time frames now to see if we can get any higher time frame confluence that complement the 15-minute trend. So backed it up to GBP USD, and my first high time frame chart I go to is the 1 hour. So we jump over to the 1 hour and we try and complement it to the 15. So as you can see, the TDI indicator, and I'm only going to focus on the TDI indicator. I'm not going to worry about the EMAs. I'll do a whole other video explaining how to use the EMAs on the higher time frame. But for now, let's just focus on the TDI indicator down here. So jumping up to the 1 hour, on the 15-minute, it's above the 50 value in the buy zone. On the 1 hour, it's above the 50 value in the buy zone. So once again, that's one high time frame complementing the 15. We go to the 4 hour. As you can see, I'll blow it up here. L50 above the 50 value. It's in the buy zone. That's 2 high time frames now. And then on the daily, you have it in the buy zone as well. So you got the 15-minute, which is bullish. You got the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily time frames all complementing the 15-minute chart. So you have your directional bias now. You are clearly long bias on GBP USD. So what I do from there on is I'll mark it blue and I'll go down to the next one. So with this buy zone, TDIs in the buy zone, the 15, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. So I'd mark it blue, not purple, blue. GBP CHF, once again, we are long bias on the 15. I know this is repetitive, but I'm trying to just show you guys what I do. This is exactly what I come to the charts, and you keep it simple and you become like really quick at doing it. 4 hour and daily. So you can see the daily's dropping. Now, don't just assume or just think to yourself that it's at the 50 value, it's gonna drop. It either is or it isn't. Don't be too subjective about it. So for me, this is in clearly above the 50 value. So all time frames, once again, this is actually coming together really nicely for my trading session tonight. There's a few, might get a potential entry. Now we have GBP USD, GBP JPY, GBP CHF, Euro NZD as basically all time frames complementing the 15-minute chart. So you have a very strong directional bias. So you're going to gain all this confidence now to take a trade in the direction the market is telling you where to trade. Once again, obviously we wait for our signals. You don't just, go on GBP USD, see everything's long bias and just hit buy. I mean, you probably could, but it's not going to be sustainable long term, so don't do that. But when you get an entry signal that presents in the market a repeatable pattern, such as the ASFX system, then having all those timeframes in your kind of favor will definitely give you a very high probability trade. Now, this is just multiple time frame analysis. We are finding basically the trends in the bigger trends, We are finding where market is trading out. What's the market telling us? So once I have all that, I'll go through and on the 1 hour and 4 hour. So on the daily, actually, we'll start with the daily. I'll look left and I'll find any significant levels that stick out to me. As most of you guys know, I'm not big on kind of levels, but just by looking right here where market's trading at, you can see a level on the daily that price came to. Now, I'm really big on psychological even handle numbers. The market responds to them very well. So if you click on here, you can see, so you have price at 1.36600, even handle number. That is a significant level in the market. You can see we pinned it on the daily, rejected it, and we recently broke it, and now we're down below it. And we've been trending below it for a fair bit. You can see we tested it here, this was another psychological number at 1.34600. Market responds to these even handle numbers very well. And now you can see that just from doing simple technical analysis, we tested it here, rejected, broke above, used it as a new level as support, and used the exact level as support here. Now we got this as resistance, testing it. Sorry, this drawing's horrible. And now we're trading at that level. So for me, GBP USD on the daily, very long bias, just from doing simple technical analysis, reading a price chart. I'm just keeping it very basic. I'm not going too detailed. And you jump to the 4 hour and it's even clearer. So I'm not going to go through all the time frames doing this, but you can see very strong levels in the market. Like, you know, like I said, drawing levels is very subjective. I can see so many levels and on GBP USD right now, like we got one in here, you know, you can look over here and you can look up here. There's a few levels up there. So jumping down to the 15-minute, it's going to be a mess. You're going to be very confused, and I wouldn't recommend doing that unless it works for you. Then keep it up. But for me, I want to get the highs, I want to get the lows, and everything in between. I don't care. You know what I mean? So I can see multiple resistance to this level, and once again, if it is a psychological number, I will pull it up. So you can see 1.36100. That is exactly a level I'd be interested in, and you can see on the 4 hour there have been a few pins towards it. So pretty much, if you're into that type of stuff and that gives you confidence as a trader to execute trades because you know price is coming into a certain zone that it may reject off and price may go towards in your favor where you want it to go, and your entry signal presents, you're just going to be very, very confident taking the trade in that direction. For me, and how I like to get my levels, and the way Austin has taught me, is purely using levels such as, let me turn on my session breaks here. So using levels, previous day levels. So as you can see, yesterday we had this low, we tested it in the Asian range, and we tested it late in the London session. We tested it also, what was that day's Thursday? We tested it on Wednesday as well. So Wednesday's low, rejected on Thursday's low as well, and then we've come higher. And you can see we're still rejecting Wednesday's high as well. So there's been a few pins. So what I will do is, basically, like I was saying, I'm always looking for the highs or the lows. I'm not looking all significant numbers in the market that price has reacted to multiple times. So for me, I would want price. You can see price has heavily reacted to this level here and this level here. So I would be wary taking a trade between the levels of 1.3700 and 1.371. Taking a trade in there might lead it to chop around or some type of volatility in your trade. But the formation I trade, which is the AceFX A1 system, is a breakout strategy. It's a breakout signal that I have presented in the market over and over again using the EMAs, the TDI, and other parameters as well. We also use divergence as well in doing our overall analysis within AceFX. And as you can see, you know, there is divergence here as well. So the TDI has an RSI indicator. Price action made a new high, as you can see here. And the RSI made a new low. So that could signal change, chop, or, you know, price may come lower. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. And from doing testing, from going through the market, we know that price can come up and touch these lines. And if you draw this line out, you can see that we may see a rejection off 1.37100, like we have been pretty much for the past few weeks, as you can see. So let me just get rid of all of these. Sorry, these are from past analysis. And let's just focus on the two lines we've drawn up here. So we've got that divergence and we've got that significant level, which is that zone. So this is how I gather my zones. As you can see, I'm not drawing them everywhere. I'm just picking out where the market has been more times than not, and is it going to interfere in my trade because I am a long bias on GBP USD. The last thing you want to do is trade right into a brick wall and price comes out and stops you. You want price to tell you what's happening. You want price to show you its hand. So what I mean by that is what everyone more or less says in the trading community: wait for price to break out and retest that level it broken out of. So what I would want to see is price do something like come out, retest that zone somewhere, and then wait for my entry signal to present in here, and then I'd be looking to take a long position on GBP USD. That just comes down to patience. That comes down to following your trading plan and just not entering the market blindly on just random positions. I hope I'm covering everything. I know this video is kind of dragging on a little bit, but pretty much that is how I do my overall analysis. And I think that's pretty much it. If volatility kicks in, lots of movement, once again, I'll go to FOREX Factory and I'll open their news. So they got like a news tab up here you can click, and it more or less gives you things that are happening, breaking news, all that type of stuff. So good to know. And I think that's about it. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys if you've stayed this long into the video. Once again, I hope you guys got some value out of this. My trading routine is very kind of straightforward. I am more or less focused. I'm always journaling my trades as well. So if I see anything present that's lower probability, I will mark it up as an ID. I just won't pull the trigger and put money on it. So even if your watch list is like 1 or 2, or even if you have nothing, I still watch the market. Obviously, I'm not as focused, but I'm still generating ideas. I'm still doing markups. I'm still shifting probabilities into my favor and seeing how they play out. So doing that will just make you a much more confident, a much more better trader than you were yesterday. It gives you more experience in the market, and you get to know your system and how it performs as well. So once again, thank you guys for sticking through this long. If you haven't already, please smash the thumbs up button if you got some value out of this video. If you're not already as well, please subscribe to my YouTube video. I'm trying to get monetized this year. That's one of my goals. And also hit the bell icon to get notified for any future content I release. Once again, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.